radians to degrees and degrees to radians. Take the title down and we'll move on. Look at that beautifully drawn circle. In that circle, how many degrees are there? That's right. There's 360 degrees in the circle. Now you know that the circumference is equal to 2 pi r. I told you that the circle that we care about, circle whose equation is x squared plus y squared equals r squared, I told you something about that r. That's right. In this case, it is 1 squared. Our radius is 1. If our radius is 1, I can continue looking at the circumference. That means the circumference is 2 pi. And what we're going to do, and what radians really means, is we're going to relate our circumference, right, which is the distance around, to our degrees, which is the degrees around. And that's it. That's what we're up to. And it's to convert 180 degrees to radians. Yep. Write it down and we can move on. Great. Thanks for writing it down. Now look, we already said that there are how many degrees in a circle? That's right, 360. And we said we wanted to relate it to how many of these there. There's 2 pi. We're going to call those radians because that's what they are. There's 2 pi, this other measurement that we're calling radians, all the way around the circle. So we're going to do 360 over 2 pi, or we could relate it the other way, 2 pi over 360. Now what have I just done? Well, I've just given both conversions away. If I'm starting with 180 degrees, I want to go to radians. What needs to be on bottom? Am I going to use this tool or this one? Great, I'm going to use this one because that's really what has degrees on bottom. I want to cancel out degrees. I'm going to multiply that by 2 pi over 360. And that's it. So I've multiplied it now, 180 times 2 pi over 360. And look, 180 times what is 360? That's right, 180 times 2. So that's like having 2 on bottom. I'm just simplifying, that's all I'm up to. 2 over 2 is what? That's right, it's 1. And so I'm left with pi. So what I can say now is 180 is equal to pi. Which means, in reality, I can now use a simpler conversion. I can use either 180 over pi or pi over 180. Let's do a new example. Convert 3 pi over 4 to degrees. Which one am I going to use? Well, of course, I'm going to use the one that has what on bottom? Pi on bottom. And what on top? Degrees on top. Why? Look, this is just old school unit conversion stuff. I want to end up with no radians, no pi's. That's really what that means. I want to end up with degrees on top. Right? That's what will let me have degrees. So I'm going to go 3 pi over 4 times 180 over pi. What happens to these pi's? Goodbye pi, goodbye pi. So now I have 3 times 180 over 4. Simplify that. Well, how many times does 180 go into 4? That's 45. So it's really 3 times 45, which is 135 degrees. 135 degrees is the same as 3 pi over 4. I'll give you a couple more examples. Literally pause and take it down, and then take this down. So go back and rewind if you need to. You're going to convert those to degrees. You're going to convert these to radians. So remember in this first example, 45 times, I would use pi over 180, which would be 45 pi over 180. But you have to simplify it. Simplifying it comes to be pi over 4. So the first one's done for you. Go back and do all the rest. I'll check your work tomorrow. Make sure you've written all these down. Here's some checkpoints for you. I've written a couple of the solutions out. Now, if you've done these correctly, then you're in good shape. You should finish them. And look, when it says 90 equals pi over 2, you can come over here to where it says 90, and you can write pi over 2 right there. And let's see, what else do we find? We found that 135 is 3 pi over 4. So we go over 135, and we write 3 pi over 4. So the expectation is this unit circle is filled out in its entirety with degrees and radians and coordinates by tomorrow. Any questions you have, bring them. And remember, you'll be quizzed on this unit circle quiz starting tomorrow. And I'll see you then. Have a good evening. Goodbye.